I'll just sit here.
Yeah.
Smiling
I'm trying to
away.
pull up
You guys are doing great.
the
You're doing great, guys.
down.
You're doing good. Yeah. It's been a crazy week at work, guys.
Oh, yeah?
My two, best techs, let's say. You know, I don't know who the manager is of this place, but decided to let them both have the same week off at the same time.
Oh,
Thought everything would be
Navy
fine.
move.
that's
It's
a great idea.
terrible. And so, yeah, we got one more day. And it's over. So I've always joked, like, I could never, like, say no to any of them. So, like, if they all came to me at one point and were just like, hey, can we all have this week off? I would just say yes, and I'd just be in the corner, like, crying.
All by yourself.
By myself.
All by myself.
Spider-Man in the shower. Crying in the corner. I don't know.
You guys have you had a good birthday, Mark?
Yeah. Yep.
Good
Good time. This weather was weird here, man. Like, usually Memorial Day, you know, it's always nice
Oh
and
my
warm. It's
gosh.
like chilly.
Yeah.
We had tornadoes yesterday.
Ooh.
I was returning, making
more
some
trees
Amazon
down
returns, and-
for your
Oh, well,
neighbors?
Thanks, Squeaker. What up?
No, thank goodness.
Neighbor tree drama?
Nope, that all smoothed over without involving.
The city or anything? Or
Yeah,
You didn't have to, because it just crossed your.
yeah. Since
Property.
the landlord doesn't have a fence out back.
Dang, Squeaker loves the massive lore dumps.
Oh my gosh, so
They're
dang,
so big.
squeaky. What's up?
Love it.
Awesome.
So this weekend, we're going to go see Metallica and Pantera on Saturday.
Oh,
So
I was wondering when
that's-
that was coming up.
Yes, so my buddy's coming. He's going to stay with us Saturday. We're going to go. He's going to get here around lunchtime Saturday. We're going to go uptown, take the light rail to South End Charlotte, which there's like breweries and restaurants there. Hang out a couple hours, eat, and then go to the stadium. And the weather looks like it'll be good. It doesn't look like it's going to be too hot. Hopefully no rain. And
What are they playing in like the football stadium?
yeah, where the Panthers play.
Oh wow, that's huge.
There's I've seen a bunch of videos like of this tour so far, and supposedly the Virginia Tech concert, which I think there's them like playing Enter Sandman. I think there were so many people jumping in the stadium, it like registered on the Richter scale
Oh yeah,
locally. So
I heard that too. Yeah, they were in Toronto like a month ago,
yeah,
Hey.
I think. Hey,
so should be good. I got our new Arrako background for the episode as well. So this is a
A new
Oh,
Eric
yeah.
Cochra background.
how do you say it?
Arrako.
Arrako.
No, it's Arrako.
Arrako.
I believe Arrako's the bird creature from Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I had a warlock one. I forget what his name.
Rocco's Modern Life.
You would point at people and they would catch on fire.
That was great. We should get that. Was that who's DM for that one?
That was the OG, yeah. That
That was me.
Clastonia.
You mean
Clastonia.
that one campaign that Mark started that we never finished?
Yeah, we had that.
Two
Epic,
two campaigns we didn't start or didn't finish.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but yeah. I was just going to say the one.
Well, we got a professional. Let's see, we got a professional gamer on this podcast now. We got a professional DM on this podcast now. I mean, you know, Ken's and I we're living the good life
Just-
here, man.
I was speaking with some.
Riding the coattails.
The cool thing about the convention is that there were lots of people there with their own systems, and there was
Oh,
my first game.
tabletop RPG systems.
Yeah, my
that's
first
cool.
game. I only had 2 people at because it was still early on Friday. There weren't that many people there, and one of the players, he was like, "Oh yeah, I own my own game company, and I've published 7 of my own systems."
7.
Oh boy.
What?
And I was like, "And you're
Oh,
coming
there's
to
7
this
different
table?"
ways to play.
And they're like complete. They're super alt. I don't have any of this stuff on me, but one, I think Mystic Punks was one of them, and just like different, cool, simple, like one page was like it was like a takeout menu, and he was like, "Yeah, that's the whole system, and it's meant for you to just be able to play on the fly, you know, simple.
That's cool.
None
That
of this
sounds great.
other stuff." But he was at my table, and then a guy who'd been DMing for like 10 years was like, "Yeah, we've never played the system before. We just want to see what it was like." And I was like,
Okay. Oh, so they're friends already?
"No, didn't know each other at all."
Oh.
But
Crazy. Did you see anybody playing Shadow Dark at all, or have you seen that system at all?
That's the one guy who owned the company. He recommended that to me and gave me something on it. I think he wrote like a module or an adventure for it.
Because there is a free starter book or whatever for that, like the basic rules. I think was on Roll20. Maybe I got it from, or it might even be available on their website. And that they've been talking about a lot on Core, that video game show we listen to. Yeah. I think all three of the guys ordered the books because the art is just like awesome. It's like black and white, just like sick art.
There was one that I didn't get to play. I talked to. It's crazy. It's like some of the people who just own their own companies are just standing there, chilling. And it was the guy who owned like a gaming company, but he was also writing a new system that they're putting up on Kickstarter later this year called Call to Power. Mm-hmm. And the the premise of the system is that the characters your players are supposed to become gods.
Oh, that's cool.
Ooh.
And the DM has like basically I believe it's the deck of fate. And so the DM can only control so much because so much is determined by card pool. So like what's the deck in D&D?
The one that has like all the crazy things in it.
Yeah. Things? And so yes, thank you. And so it's a tool for the DM to choose story-wise. And he's like, basically, if you're the game master for this game and your players are not becoming gods by, X amount of sessions through, you're doing it wrong. If you're
that's crazy.
Up the ante every session, you're doing it wrong. And he was like, hey, we're looking.
Nope.
Oh, guess we'll never know.
Get it out now. Guess we'll never know. He's Matt's gone. He's totally gone.
He's gone.
He's gone.
10 minutes. 10 minutes to get back in here.
He's not Guan. He's just gone.
There he is.
There he is. He's back. You're back. What happened?
You were Guan.
You were Guan.
So if it's something 10, you're doing it wrong?
Yeah.
If you're not gods in sessions or if you're not upping the ante?
And then he said, we're looking for DMs or we're looking for game masters to, take this around to conventions around the country. I wasn't able to play at their session because I was running my own games, but
cool.
I signed up for more information, so I'm stoked to hear about that one.
Nice. I guess, as you said, too, you don't want to be running sessions all weekend, so you can actually try the other stuff.
Yeah, you want to play, right?
That was the
learnings.
I have a love-hate relationship with like the intro stuff because I loved running intro to D&D tables. It was running like level 1 people who had never, played D&D before, and it was like talking to people about like the tomato scale and explaining abilities. You never heard that?
No.
So like the abilities in D&D, so strength, can you crush a tomato? Constitution, can you eat a bad tomato? Knowledge, do you know that a tomato is a fruit? Wisdom, are you wise enough to know not to put a tomato in a fruit salad? That kind of thing. And you just kind of like pare it all down for them. And they were running level 1 characters, 7 hit points, trying to get into
D4 damage.
But really get into a dungeon and
awesome.
Find treasure. And the cross section of people who showed up was just, that's probably what I'm going to do my Patreon about.
Yeah, I'm excited. I want to hear about that.
Yeah, save some of it for that. And here in the beginning of the show here, we'll
talk about the Marvel stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys in the stream, man, thanks for joining us here. We're ready to roll. You guys ready?
Holding it dank.
Okay. Here we go. Rivals assemble.
Music. Cue it up, DJ.
Episode 30. Let's go. Yeah, you know what time it is. That's right. It's time for Rivals Assemble, a Marvel Rivals podcast. I am your host, Mark Turcotte, and you are tuned in to episode 30. Well, my friends, season 2.5 is upon us, and on this episode, we're going to be talking about our early hands-on impressions of Ultron, of Arrako, of the combat chest of everything coming in the season. We also have some Thor lore for you, and we have some questions and topics from you, our listeners. So joining me here to break it all down, first up, Neil. Neil, what's up, dude?
Rivals assemble! Hey, everybody. The Dirty 30. We're here. That's
Nice.
30 episodes. Pretty excited.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I hopped into the season 2.5 stuff a little bit last night and enjoy what I saw. You did a great stream on it of the weekend. That was my kids loved watching that with me. And yeah, let's get into it.
Let's go. Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, I did do a stream. It should be over in our YouTube channel, youtube.com/rivalsassemble. You can see I kind of went through what I spent like an hour, Neil. And I think Neil was in the chat. Yeah. His kids didn't believe it was live. So, you know, talking to them on the stream was great.
Gave them a shout out. They're like, whoa, this is real. And they're like, can he see us right now? I'm like, no, don't worry.
Let's see. And also joining us, Ken's. Ken's, what's up, dude?
What's going on? Happy to get into the build a little bit this week. So there's a lot going on right now. Happy to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure, man. We definitely will be talking about the build here on the episode. And of course, a lot of you listening to this, it's already out. So you guys are probably already playing it, but we'll give you our early impressions here. And welcoming back to the show, a man who is fresh off the heels of MomoCon, Matt. Matt, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? I am still, there's jet lag, but I didn't travel anywhere. I just traveled like an hour away from me into the big city. I'm a small city boy, so I have a car lag still a few days later. Stoked to be back, though. Ken's, I got your Why Not right here.
Oh, it's incredible.
Ready to send to you. Don't worry.
One of the last 4 Pokemon that I need to have all 1,025. So Matt's hooked me up.
That's wild. What are the 4 you need? You want to throw it out here just in case any listeners out there have it?
Quilladin and Quilladin and
Azrael.
Azrael are the only 2 that I need now because I pulled a Chingling the other day.
Wow. Crazy. And you'll have, how many is it? 1,000 what?
1,025.
Wow.
That's wild.
But crazy. He cannot go out. You can't buy them online. That's the
my rule for it is that it has to be given to me by someone that I know, traded, or I have to buy it at like a local shop. So I'm not like going to I could do it in a day if I wanted to.
Right.
I could go load up on a store and have them come in the mail, but there's no fun in that.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Well, Matt, give us a little recap, man, about MomoCon. I mean, obviously, we've been talking about it, hyping it up now for, the last 4 or 5 episodes, if not longer. How did the Marvel Multiverse RPG sessions go, man?
Yeah, so I ran 3 sessions of an original adventure that I wrote based off T'Challa's lore, basically in-game in Marvel Rivals. It's called Infection Point Wakanda, and deals with the goddess Bast and the happenings in the intergalactic empire of Wakanda. And I had 2 full tables, and then one was right at the start of the convention, so it wasn't full, but it was a great session nonetheless. My first table was only 2 guys. They ran as Hulk, Banner, and Iron Man. And one was who was someone who had been a dungeon master or a game master for 10 years. And the other was someone who owns his own game company and publishes his own game systems. And so that was very daunting as my first game. Like 10:30 in the morning, they were waiting. I got there at 9:30 to set up. They were there waiting at my table, and I was like, "Pardon me."
Cripes.
Excited.
The second day, they oversold my table. So I had 7 people to the point where I had to split Hulk and Banner and have each player take one of them. So we had a full 7 people at the table. There was no room at the table, so I put away my DM screen, I put away my maps and my put away everything because there was no room, and I just stood up and gesticulated and
that's wild.
Acted for 4 hours, and that game was pretty epic. Just also at that game, there were 2 people who I had in my first intro to D&D session. So they'd never done RPGs before. I did a session with them in Dungeons and Dragons. They came back the next day because they loved the table so much. And they're
Good
like,
job,
we have
man.
no idea what this game is either, but whatever.
That's awesome.
Okay. And then my last day was, I think, another 5-top. And yeah, just such fun stuff. Only one table ended up beating the final villain. I won't
Due to time or just strength?
no, just due to combat
Difficulty?
rules
Not
and
getting wrecked. Not getting knocked
environmental
out.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I received this was my first this was the first time that I ever played RPGs in person. So
Wow,
I've only
yeah.
done digital with you guys, with some other friends and stuff, like online.
Mhm.
And I don't know if this is good or bad. I got a lot of comments that were like, you've only been playing this long, but you're at conventions now doing this. That's incredible. And I was like, you know that scene in Legally Blonde where Elle Woods is like, what, like it's hard? And I was like, is it supposed to be harder than this?
Yeah, but you've been doing improv and all that on stage too, man. So
that's
like,
very
Yes,
true.
you
It's
definitely have a creative background
Yeah,
that
this
most
is
people
your-
don't have when it comes to storytelling
Yeah.
and writing and
Right.
all of these things.
If anything, I can, pull a story out of my butt or whatever. But yeah, super fun. Every day I took less and less materials with me. I didn't realize that how much stuff I actually had needed for the game. But yeah, lots of people were
Awesome, man.
asking if I was gonna publish this or release it.
Ooh.
I don't think you can right now. Dungeons and Dragons has this agreement where fans can, publish and release and make money off their own adventures. But with Marvel having the rights wrapped up through Marvel, through Disney, through so many things, I've talked with a lot of creators in the Marvel space, and they said they can't even get them listed as free releases on sites
Wow.
like Drive-Thru RPG.
Okay.
So maybe sometime in the future, just like put it out. But
sounds like we just need to record that, Matt. Sounds like we
Yeah.
just need to do our own little session here.
Yeah, you can run us through it. I do
I
have
was
one
already
question.
thinking of ways to make it more intense.
One question on what stuff you brought and having it
Yeah.
in person. I noticed that you had a battle map and it was in like a bound book.
Oh my
How
god.
did you do that? Did you get those printed or what?
So because I'm a toxic Kickstarter backer, Lagnus, if you're listening, fast forward 2 minutes ahead. There's this fantastic. So one of the hardest things about RPGs is finding good battle maps, especially physical stuff, because I hate rolled up maps. And so I backed this Kickstarter campaign. There's an amazing artist named Tom Kartos, like cartographer, like Kartos,
Oh, yeah, cool.
Cartos. And he has come out with all of these different battle books. And it's this large spiral bound book, and every page you flip is a different map. And every book, there are like 24, 25 maps. And so one book is like Dungeons and Crypts. The other is like Forests and Oceans. One is like Modern Cities and Streets.
Nice.
And literally, I just didn't worry about getting maps for any of my stuff and said, let me take my books. And I just thumbed through and found one,
Sweet.
plopped it down.
That's
Perfect.
awesome.
So
That's
great.
cool.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we will definitely. We gotta run through that. Maybe we'll see. We'll let this season marinate a little bit. Maybe get a couple weeks in, and then maybe we can try to do. Because over in the chat, Final Hex Girl, she's saying yes, please do it. So yeah, maybe.
I just want to know what the story is.
Me
Not
too,
gonna lie,
man.
I KO'd so many people and it felt so good.
All right.
My goal was to TPK one of my intro to D&D tables, and I didn't do that. But
Yeah, you don't
That's
wanna
total
scare 'em
team
away
party kill,
on their
right?
First,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Particle.
total party kill.
Don't do that.
their first
Don't do
intro.
that.
You want them to come back and enjoy it, so
That's right.
they, keep playing.
All right, guys, we got a lot to talk about here. We're going to just kind of breeze through the intro here as normal here. What's up, everybody, for tuning into the show? Head on over to our website, to rivalsassemble.com. You can find all our socials over there. If you're listening to the podcast, chances are you know how to reach out to us. Be sure to head over to our Discord. You can find the link over there. And, of course, if you want to become a patron here on the show, you can find a link to our Patreon over there and get some extra content, some extra podcasts from us every single week. Now, real quick, the NHL Bracket Challenge. We don't need to spend too much time on it, but my Canes lost last night. So I think then, do we have a definitive winner now, Neil? I think, does that make it where Kite wins? Right?
I hope I won. I
Yes.
hope I won.
No.
Oh,
No?
because exhausted readers max possible points is 279.
Okay. So
and Kaihi, which should be Kite, we've talked about that, is at 182, but they can get up to 332. So it might, because they both have Florida winning. So
all right, well, we'll see. So the Moose Cup, the inaugural Moose Cup, has not been won yet. So we'll have to wait a couple more weeks till we see who the winner of that is. I could be wrong.
Yep. Hey, Neil.
Yep.
You know how, like, have you ever seen, like, a shofar? It's like one of those, like, or it's one of those, like, horns, like, carved out of bone.
It's not like someone that drives me around.
Can you do that with, like, a moose antler? Because that'd be pretty epic if you had like a moose antler that was made into like a conch horn, you know.
Yeah. And I can wake up my whole family and for my intro on the podcast every week.
Just saying.
Okay.
Anyways, we had a poll this week, guys. We always have a poll every single week. You can find it over on our Spotify episode. So this week we asked you guys, what are you most excited for in season 2.5? We had Ultron, the Arrako map, the new game mode, the auto chess mode, new lore, new team-ups, or hero changes, and coming in at over 50%, at 52.9%, with 87 total votes. This one gathering 46 of the votes is Ultron, obviously, right? The new character. Everybody's more excited for the new character. Coming in second, though, however, was the new team-ups.
Yeah, team-up.
Yeah, the team-ups, Neil, which I even saw a couple comments of people saying
team-ups.
They love the team-ups. So,
and there's a whole bunch that are changing too, right? So, but you can't beat a new character. I think you set this up for failure. So.
Yeah, my vote was new lore, but you can't.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be great too.
I don't know. We should. If we did, what are you most excited for? And there needs to be a future poll that's like, how satisfied are you with Ultron? Because
yes,
you were excited.
Well, that might be next week. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that one. I picked the new game mode though. Because I was like to me, I just want to play that. Like, to me, it just looks interesting. A different way to play with these Marvel characters. Yeah. I don't know.
Did anybody else know that there was lore attached on the Hellfire Gala card once you made your votes in that challenge? That gallery
I never
card?
made it that far. So I don't know.
Yes, because I know I read it, but that was...
I wonder... I need to look and see if it was all the same. Or if it was different per
who you voted,
who you voted for.
Yeah,
interesting.
Because I voted for Emma Frost.
I think you could continue to vote too, right? Because you were still getting coins. Like you, 5 or 10 of them would give you patch, and then you could just continue to keep voting. I think because still the challenges would still give you the coins, and you need 50.
I shenaned once. I didn't need to shenan again because getting through Act 2 was.
And
my public apology to MARKTURC for poo-pawing. I don't know if anybody else understands the term poo-paw. Say that here in the South. It's like, oh, no, you just poo-paw. For poo-pawing you and telling you that you were overreacting about Act 2. No, it was legitimately...
Until you're in it, you don't understand.
You don't understand. You're just like, it's just another event.
And you're okay, you just got to finish the events. It's like all the other ones.
I mean, the fact they had to extend it a week. And even then, I've even seen comments of people still saying they didn't get it.
I still didn't finish it. I will have to catch patch next time around.
Is that what having kids is like? Like you don't know it until you're in it.
Until you're in it, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
That's empathy.
Let's see. So congratulations, Ultron, for you getting the win. Just a quick recap of everything else. So team ups with 19 votes. The Arrako map and the new game mode were 7. Hero changes with 5 votes, and the new lore with 3. So, not a lot of lore heads out there. I figured that one I thought was actually going to be up there pretty high. But and I was surprised that the map didn't get second. Like I thought for sure that would.
Yeah, that map's going to be great.
Well, after you undersold it last week, I was listening back and my heart hurt. It was like I was when you were like, what? I forget what you said. It was basically like. No offense, but offense.
It sucks.
But it's boring. And it was
that was just the screenshots you were talking about, too, right? It was
yes. And then you know what? I will say this. Like once I started talking last week and it was coming out, I was like, oh God, I'm in this, man. We're going for it. And I just was like, it came out. But I will say after, and we're going to talk about it in a couple minutes here, getting hands-on, getting into the map, it is actually a really cool map.
Okay, sure.
Still not, pretty much to this point, every map has been the best map up to that point. This does not beat the Krakoa map, but it's still pretty awesome.
I would also like to add in there that I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we just got a war-torn version of the Krakoa map?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this isn't exactly that, but I feel like Guan took my comments to heart as well and was like, "That Matt, he's
That's
smart."
pretty much what this is, but a different part of Krakoa.
But a different part. That's right. So next week, guys, for our poll next week, we're since we're getting both Jeff Venom team ups and Jeff Storm team up.
Summer of Jeff.
Who would you want to see Jeff team up with next? So, would you like to see Jeff team up with Magneto? Maybe Jeff and Wolverine? Jeff and Iron Fist? Jeff and Scarlet Witch? Or Jeff and Spider-Man? Place your vote and leave us a comment as to what you think the team up should be. So again, you can find that poll over on our Spotify underneath this episode. Which team up do you want to see with Jeff? Magneto, Wolverine, Iron Fist, Scarlet Witch, and Spider-Man. And if you can, let us know what you think the team up should be.
I can tell you what his Spider-Man team up would be already.
All right, go ahead.
When he ults, after he swallows everybody up, the whole area where he ulted basically becomes webbed up and it becomes difficult terrain.
Okay, yeah. Slow, yeah.
And so it gives you more incentive to use your ult instead of hold on to it like you guys did. So you could just web up the center of the map or web up the area in front of their spawn or something like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wolverine is a tornado of blades.
Yeah, I want the Magneto one to be where he just somebody levitates Jeff and picks him up and covers him in metal to make a big Jeff ball, and he throws a big Jeff ball at
Jeff
somebody.
Gets his mech suit.
Yeah, Jeff mech suit. Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Or Jeff becomes the sword, like his fin.
God!
Oh yeah,
okay.
That could be
workshop
a thing.
it. Gotta.
Every time he swipes, Jeff just opens his mouth and it's just like
Teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Just like.
The one that I thought of from this is Wolverine, and you have the X-Pals where Jeff rides on Groot, this one Wolverine will ride on Jeff, and he's surfing along Jeff, and he kind of flies into the other team, kind of an alternate fastball special.
Nice.
Everyone gets to throw Wolverine in some way.
Yeah.
Or Jeff just does kind of like when he spits people out after his ult, he just jumps up in the air.
There you go.
Flips.
Yeah.
Hawktuism.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about our Wolverine challenge this week. So we were challenged to play some Wolverine. I'm going to be honest, guys. I didn't really take part so much in this. I had a couple matches where I with the intention, I was like, okay, this is going to be my #1 Wolverine game, and I'm going to go on from here. And then halfway through the match, I was just like, this is staying.
He got tilted.
And I would just switch to somebody else. And Wolverine to me seems like he's very much a situational character. It's not a character that I can go into a match and always feel like I'm good with it. I was trying to think I kind of feel that way even with when we were playing Black Widow. What was the difference between playing Black Widow where I was frustrated or playing Wolverine where I wasn't necessarily frustrated. I just didn't. I don't know. It's there's certain maps that he just, I believe, is not good on. And again, it's probably a skill issue because I'm just not good playing with him. But it's there's better melee characters to play. And it's he just didn't seem to fit the situation. And it was just, I couldn't keep myself with him. So
I'm with you somewhat. I think it's definitely a skill issue for me. Is I've felt this way with all these challenges of the first 3 games that I play. I'm man, I'm not doing so great, but let's just stick it out. And I'll usually by the end of it, I'm feeling in the groove and I feel a bit more confident with the character. Wolverine, I quite literally rage quit.
No,
playing Wolverine. Playing Wolverine is the least fun experience I've ever had playing Marvel Rivals. I was having zero fun. And it was one, it's because I'm bad, so that's number 1. Number 2 is because I was playing quick play and I was like, I'm gonna do this Wolverine challenge. Sometimes people wouldn't pick tanks. So it's the enemy team doesn't have a tank. And it's well, okay, I'm playing a worthless character right now because I'm serving no purpose to my team because I'm not tank busting anyone. I'm just dying. And when they would have a tank, it's sometimes I would take the tank down and all right, I got the 1 kill and the rest of the team would just annihilate me. And so it's it is very niche. Also I'm bad and I did not have a good time. I think I played 4 games and I was like, I'm done. I'm going to play competitive. Yeah. I went to play competitive instead of play quick play with Wolverine.
You understand his kit though, right? You got to keep his rage up. That's the thing. You almost need to just dive in with your right click, start slashing, and then that meter in the middle, get it up to 100, and just try to constantly keep the damage.
It seems like there just wasn't enough. Like there wasn't enough time. Like I don't know how to get the rage up without being in the middle of everything and dying.
Yeah,
it was like you gotta have experience for getting a job, but you can't get a job without experience situation.
I mean, it's kind of even like Venom. Like with Venom, like you got to know when to pop your bonus health or armor that Venom gets. You kind of have to know when to drop that or hit that with Wolverine as well. Like lunge in, slash as they're starting to wear you down, then pop his E to get his little extra health, and then by that point, then hopefully you can do your shift, send him flying. If you're up close enough. Because you don't want to pop that. That's the worst feeling when you miss that. Like when you come in and then you hit it and you just like jump over everybody. You're just like,
you got to be really close to them too. I think I underestimated the distance that you needed to be in order to pull that off.
Oh, right in their face. And you got to be like.
And then I think that when you do that, you need to be so aware of the position that you're putting them in.
Right.
And that's what you're talking about, like the map. Well, maybe the map wasn't good, like map awareness and knowing, like, okay, if I go this way, I need to, like, your team needs to be present, and it needs to be, or you need to have them like in a corner somewhere. And so it's like I just didn't have the knowledge and awareness to really do it well.
Yeah. What about you, Neil? You seem to look at your numbers, man. You did pretty good.
It was very bad. The only games I won were bot matches. I'm 99% sure that they were throwing me in bot matches because I was doing so bad. I still had fun. I was still enjoying it. I definitely agree. The pounce, I missed that so many times. Like the best success I had with that is just kind of jumping into the fight, because it does a little bit of damage if you land on top of people. So I would do that to kind of like jump in, and then you have your accelerated basic attack. That's how I use that one. Some tip that I've kind of figured out, it takes 2 sets of, it's an unlimited basic attack, but it kind of goes in 4s, and then there's like a little cooldown there. So you go hit, and then you breathe, hit. So it's basically every 2 sets, that's when you can dash again. So just to think about that. And I think there's probably like an animation cancel. If you dash, you don't have to kind of sit around and wait for that. We'll call it a breath between your sets of 4. So getting that was good. And like just always staying on top of them, because they're always going to be running from you and your range is nothing. So you got to be right on top of them as well. But yeah, I had great games, but they were definitely bots. And whenever I was in those games, and a telltale sign that I was with a bot on my team as well. Sometimes they put bots on my teams, because I would go to, there would always be a Hulk on my team. I think they want to like push the team up. So I'd always have a Hulk. And as soon as I would press, hey Hulk, you want to whoa, and he grabs you, and
like
he's already, you see the auto aim just as you're sitting in Hulk's hand, and he's like following, it's like he's hacking. He's following the enemies and like not actually throwing yet, and he's kind of waiting. And I'm like, this Hulk is acting kind of strange. And convinced that he was a bot too. But I'm not done with him yet. He's also not my main. So yeah,
I'm better with him than I am Spider-Man. I'll say that much.
Yeah,
Kens, would you say that? You think you're better with?
No, I'm definitely 100% am better with Spider-Man.
Wow. Well, at least because I guess you can escape, right?
I'll play Black Widow. I'll play Black Widow for a month before you have me.
Wow.
You heard that bad.
That's a nightmare for me right there. You didn't get a chance to just get into it, right? I mean, have you played him in the past?
I didn't do. I will not lie. I lived my best 2-star AI match life with Wolverine.
Nice.
No shame. And won every single match.
There you go.
In AI, with like maybe I think my maximum amount of kills was like 3, in AI.
Yeah,
just I agree with Ken's, like if you are not building the frenzy, it builds like my personal frenzy, not being able to build Wolverine's frenzy. And it was just the amount of energy I was trying to do, like I became button mashy on Wolverine, and I hated that feeling, because I was like, I just got to do something. I just got to, get him in there. But the nature of AI matches played against me as well, I feel, because you have those players who are like come out of AI matches with like 54 kills or whatever, you know, because they're just farming, which that mode is there for, but it's kind of like, wait, guys, save something for me to kill. But I wasn't fast enough, nor was I good enough on the character.
Gotcha.
I love it was so cool seeing like Patch in action, seeing my Deadpool versus Wolverine skin in action.
Yeah.
I can see why people love to play him, because like the character movement is fantastic.
Yeah, dude. Even the battle pass skin, you know, because I went in and I was like, because I was like, I'm gonna play with the patch skin, but then I'm like, but I love the Deadpool Wolverine skin, which I have. I had bought that like, you know, week 1 or week 2, and then having even the other battle pass skin, the premium skin, I'm like,
Blood Moon.
he's got
Hunter
some
or whatever.
great skins. Like,
It got me thinking about what other like costumes I would want to see him in, and definitely like Age of Apocalypse. I know I've said that so many times.
Yep.
I think
That's
it's
the one
also
arm?
be interesting to see how they would pull off just an adamantium skeleton Wolverine,
Oh.
That would be gross, but that'd be cool.
like a random like Halloween, maybe something like that.
Or
I
Weapon
think
X,
that'd be
man.
cool.
Put the helmet on with the
Yeah.
cables coming off, or
I want like an
Logan.
old man, like an old man Logan, like old, haggard, dirty Logan, or like Logan before adamantium with like the bone claws. I think would be pretty cool.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Go read Origin.
So next week we are doing Ultron. We decided because we will now have Ultron live in the game, in the live build of the game. We're going to play Ultron next week. So if you want to play along, play some Ultron matches. Let us know. Give us your feedback. pod@rivalsassemble.com. Let us know what you think, or of course leave a comment.
And everybody has to do their own, their best James Spader impersonation.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, right? Like hearing the voice in the game. I didn't see who the voice actor is, but it's like,
It's not
James Spader. That's like just what I'm used to now, you know, seeing him in the movies. All right, well, let's move on here to our week in game. And speaking of Ultron, let's talk about Ultron, guys. We had some early access to the early build of the game, and we did get some hands-on with Ultron. I know, Matt, did you get a chance at all to play any of the build, or no? I know you.
I did not.
Okay. Kenz, I'll start with you, man. What do you think of Ultron?
I don't know. I think that's the best way to put it.
That's episode 30. Come back next week for more Rivals Assemble.
And so on the build, there's a limited amount of people that have the build, and it's tough to get into real matches. Yeah. And so mainly if you're going to play and you don't want to wait 10 to 30 minutes for a single match, you have to play versus AI. And so like I was doing 3-star AI for the couple games that I played, and he seemed okay, but at the same time I could see how versus real players he could kind of struggle, specifically in the healing. His damage is all right, he has solid range. I'm not sure, I didn't do any testing on the damage numbers, so I'm not sure on the damage fall off of it.
I didn't see any.
Yeah,
I think
so
there is some fall off.
There's like, so if you go back and watch the stream that I did, Neil, were you watching at that point when I did it? Like
I went far back.
I went into the training area, like when you go outside and there's, you know, the one, I don't know, the little guys, there's like 2 little guys sitting down at the bottom. I flew as far away as I could, and 3 shots, they're dead. And that's landing the full shot, because that's the thing. Like it's almost like a small beam, so you hit it, and it's a small beam that he shoots, and you can actually like maybe not be hitting them and then move to the left a little bit and only do maybe half damage. But
it should just take 2.
I mean, maybe if you're headshotting, but it wasn't 2. It was 3. Even when I had enemies that were fairly close.
The like, small bots, you mean?
Yeah, I think it was small bots, wasn't it? Was that the ones I was hitting?
Yeah,
I think. But his range, regardless, even with the, you know, even if it's just a tiny bit of fall off, like you can basically sit in the back of your team and be hitting the healers in the back. That's pretty good that you could do with him. Now, the only issue is, the healing, right? So is he more along the lines of like an Adam Warlock?
Oh, for sure.
Where he's, you know, more of a damage strategist, I guess.
Yeah. I think my issue though is that I think that is the archetype of strategist that he's in. Is he's definitely more heavy on the damage than healing. And I just wonder why you would pick Ultron over Warlock or Mantis. If you're like, all right, we're going 3 healers. You know, we need someone to do damage. Why pick? I don't know what he brings that's better than them.
Yeah.
I will say though that his healing is the weakest thing. You know, it's like it's like it does okay healing, and then there's that AOE. I think if they're able to adjust that a little bit, then he might be okay. But he.
Well, I was just going to say, for those that don't know, like we're recording this live, so if you haven't really watched the videos yet, but basically you put a bot on one of your heroes, and it creates this small like circle that you can see down in the field. And think of how like Storm, when she has her AOE in the ground, it tells you the number of people in that AOE that are, I guess, have the ability to be healed by the bot. And then when you pop his
click,
what is it called?
It's just the
shield?
right click.
His little shield thing. It
yeah,
basically gives bonus health to those heroes. So it's not even really necessarily healing them. It's just giving it's like a burst of bonus health that they get, or armor almost at that point. And then they slowly are going to heal after that. So yeah, he's not like Adam Warlock, where when you pop his quick heals, that it like is literally
to everybody.
healing them. Yeah, pretty quick. I don't know. For me personally, I think I would pick him because I felt like I had maybe better accuracy with his damage than I would with Adam Warlock. Because Adam Warlock, he's really dangerous when you do like his charge up damage. And I don't know, I just felt like having the ability to fly up and have a strategist where I can kind of get out of the way, hide behind corners, playing him almost more like I play Iron Man, in a sense where there's times where I'm literally up in the air peeking around corners. You know, I think that may be put him for me over Adam Warlock. But again, because we were in this build mainly playing against bots, I think maybe I had one real match, but again, I kind of think it was filled with bots, kind of like Neil was literally just talking about with his Wolverine games. Until you're live in it and in a real game with people playing all the characters, you know, just kind of full bore going, we're not going to really know what his healing is, I think, until we get to that point.
Yeah, I think that he's definitely easier to play than some of that archetype like Warlock and Mantis, and so that would be good. Although his team up with Iron Man, did you get to use that at all?
I absolutely did, because the bot games always had that.
Now that's pretty strong. It's like because it penetrates both enemies and
heals
and allies, and it does a pretty good amount of healing. And so whenever I had that thing, like putting that on my tank and then it's piercing through them, so bad. So it's good. So we'll see how that goes.
I mean, it's essentially Iron Man's beam, but with the same exact range that Ultron has. So you even have more range than you have as Iron Man, and you're just.
Do you think the healing is bad? Isn't the word, but diminished enough on Ultron that we could see him played more as DPS to the point where it could be like a 1 or like a 2-1-3 composition?
Maybe the thing about his healing too is it's all passive. Like you don't have to do anything. Like you just hit the button and then you're damaging after that. You know, it's like you're not paying attention to the heals unless you need to move it.
Yeah.
Okay. He's like Zenyatta.
Yeah, I think the difference between him and Warlock is it's a consistent slow heal, like a Lucio or whatever.
I'm a Zenyatta, man.
Or Zenyatta. I mean,
or
it's like Zenyatta in Overwatch.
Yeah, where Warlock is burst and then
or
nothing.
Zenyatta.
Burst and then nothing. Or Zenyatta.
Or Zenyatta.
Although Zenyatta doesn't have the AoE, where he has the Lucio.
Right. Zenyatta does.
So, yeah, I see. That's kind of the difference there. Just with the healing, and in the I was messing around in the practice range as well and setting up so I can play with the Iron Man team up. And in the practice range, they usually like set you up a thing above where that team up kind of tester thing is. It gives you something to try it out with. So they get you 2 big bots, and your bot's going to go down unless you save him. And there's no way you can save him with your base drone attachment plus the extra shield. He won't win out of that. You do need to use Iron Man's team ability to keep him alive, even though as much as I was trying to get the heal on him to take out the big bot, there's no way to save him unless you use that Iron Man ability. So I feel like if you are going to use him as a one, well, definitely not a solo healer, but even with just 2 healers, one of your DPS needs to be Iron Man to give you that that team up ability and give you that extra healing, because it's doubles his healing even more, I think. And another thing that I noticed about that shield is it will give the people around your attached bot a shield, but also yourself. There's an AoE around yourself. So if you're up with Iron Man and you've got your bot down on the ground on your Magneto or whatever, you can shield your whole team, even though they're into kind of 2 clumps.
Yeah.
So
nice.
I thought that was pretty.
His ult is cool too. I mean, I think his ult is pretty. Just it looks good.
Kind of. It feels good too. It's just like
cool.
Big explode, like groups of 4 or whatever it is. You got your 4 bots, and it's boom, 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 boom.
I actually kept forgetting about the burst that he has too, like the boost. So like his shift, he quickly kind of like bops out. I don't know, like you see in the video when you watch, like Wolverine jumps him and then he quickly hits it and he shoots up to the sky.
Yeah.
So whatever direction you're pointing, you hit it and he'll quickly like what do you want to say? Like boost in that
direction.
Like
a dash.
Yeah. A quick dash.
Like a little dash, and then you have 8 seconds
of.
You have increased speed for 8 seconds after as well, but there is like a big initial burst of that movement.
So it's kind of like Johnny Storm's, but Johnny, like, it just kind of, his speed just increases. There is no actual dash to Johnny, right?
Yeah.
Like
that's more like a Captain America dash,
right?
Like hold shift to run kind of thing.
But let us know. Like I said, next week we're going to be doing our Ultron challenge and giving you some more thoughts. And I'd love to know everybody's thoughts on it, because it's going to be interesting. I mean, Matt, you mentioned, like, what did you say? Are we going to see a 2-1-3? I'm almost wondering if it's going to be
where my mind went, because it's like, oh, let's just play Ultron as a DPS, who has like a little bit of healing to him, like even more so than people play Warlock or Mantis.
Yeah, and especially if that one is Iron Man, and you give Ultron that.
It's got to be. I feel like Iron Man's mandatory if you're playing Ultron.
That's going to be it's going to be a big one.
This is my first time really playing a flying hero like this, and I like it.
It's so fun.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see how it goes. We'll talk about it next week.
Yep. Let's see. We also, of course, had the new map. So like I said last week, I had some bad thoughts to say about the map. Just kind of the aesthetic of it. But getting into it now, knowing kind of just how it fits into the lore and all that, knowing that essentially the payload now is Krakoa. Kind of you're pushing him forward, and every door that you get to, he kind of like, what do you want to say, biologically terraforms the cybernetics of the map into, the living planet, if you want to say.
Restores it
to
the way that it's supposed to be.
Yeah. It's a cool map, man. Like it really is neat. There's that one corner you go through, and it's like a tunnel you're almost going through, and there's Doom is down there. There's some like Iron Man Sentinels in that area. They all can be busted down as you're going through there.
Mm-hmm.
And that wall is breakable too. It's like a secret passage.
Yep.
Yeah. I think, Mark, my thoughts of why you didn't like this at first glance, it looks pretty similar to a bunch of the, the Hydra base?
Yeah.
Like it has like the similar wall kind of structure. Plus it's like that, but it is a lot bigger. Like, especially being Ultron and flying around, you can go up pretty high. And there is a lot of space to move around, similar to the Krakoa. It's not like open roof, but it's like very tall roofs.
Yep.
So,
but it is kind of narrow though, but there is a lot of places to kind of hide and get into and all that. Like right in the beginning, there's areas you can go down, kind of beneath the main path. You can go above the main path. There's little like jump points where you can kind of jump out at people. So I could see like a Wolverine or even a Psylocke being able to kind of hide in the corner, or a Black Panther, and like the whole team comes running out, and then you can just bum rush them and try to get in there and get a couple good quick kills.
No, it looks great. I'm excited. Just a new map is always fun. I feel like I haven't played the Central Park enough. Sometimes, but I don't know. I feel like I could play that more.
Yeah.
I'm interested in learning more of the lore about this specific moment of Arrako, because for people who don't know anything about it, Ken's alluded to it last week about how it was basically the sister island of Krakoa. In modern comics, the island of Arrako is put on the planet Mars, and the mutants terraform it, and it becomes like the specific inhabitants of Arrako live there. And at one point, they have even more mutants there than Krakoa. And Storm and some of the mutants go and live on Mars and, rule over it. Not rule over it, but, preside over it. So I'm interested to see, like, what moment in time this is for Arrako. Yeah.
Ken's, any thoughts on the map? You haven't?
Yeah, it's cool. I like it a lot. I like that it's a what do you call it? The payload map, where it's
convoy.
Like, the convoy. It's cool that Krakoa has kind of like the avatar of Krakoa, is kind of what it is. It looks like a big for a colossi, it's which you can see the big face on the Krakoa map, but now it's like has a body that it's walk. Because I think the first thing that I looked at whenever I went into the map, I was like, what's the payload going to be? What is it going to be? A bunch of Ultron bots? Like, what is it? And I saw the icon was like a little tree. I was like, oh, is it going to be Krakoa? And like I saw that it was that, and I was super stoked about that and seeing it kind of like change the map back to restore it the way that it's supposed to be. Super cool. But yeah, I'm excited to. I didn't explore too much of it because I was like, man, I kind of want to see some of this as I'm playing through it. So I didn't. But when you have it in our Twitch stream right now, but there is a skybox to this map. Most of it is enclosed, but there's some areas where you can kind of like go over to the side and look up and see.
And it's cool.
It looks like the cradle, but do we know what that is? Like that big tower?
No,
that's on Arrako, but it
no.
It looks like the cradle, and it's like it's got this swirly kind of like stuff, maybe some kind of red crinovium. I don't know what it is, but something's going on there. So I'm excited to see what's up with that.
Hopefully we'll learn what's there. I will say too, there is definitely a couple points that I could see becoming like common choke points. One definitely being that one tunnel where you go down where the robots are. I even had like 1 or 2 easy bot matches that I ran that became a choke point. And I'm like, am I going to lose this easy bot match just because the team I was playing with could not get through that tunnel?
That's probably why they made those walls destructible, so you can find a way around.
But it's going to be interesting. This in competitive, I think, is going to be pretty neat. You're going to, because I like the convoy maps in competitive. I like it where rather than do domination, I like it where it's like, all right, let's see how far we can get and see how far you can get. I like playing competitive that way more, and this is just having this added to the mix. I think it's going to be great. What about any of the other hero changes? Did you guys get a chance to dabble with anybody else kind of in there? Or no?
I did. I played around with Jeff a little bit. I think having the mouth spray as a damage thing is pretty cool. Less bubbles is not as fun because you can't like set. It's 3, right, instead of 5.
3, and they're on a cooldown,
yeah, and then your alternate fire bubble attack. I feel like I'm going to be using the stream now because it's a little bit more nicer to you that if you miss, you can still kind of adjust. It's instead of like, oh, you totally missed your bubble shot, that's 3 seconds without doing any damage kind of thing. It's a constant stream of damage is a little bit better from you.
When you guys were talking about your Jeff play, like I thought it was interesting the way you talked about using your bubbles, which I guess I did completely differently because I know you talked about, leaving a path to, we had a Discord member, recommend, making a path to where you were going to take your ult and leaving your trail of bubbles there. I'm usually just like all in on using my bubbles as like a healing projectile. So like,
that's Neil, usually how I use it. That's how I do it.
Never mind.
Well, no, I think, but Neil, you were saying you were using them more to damage, right? You were using them to knock up or to slow down. Is that what you were saying, Neil? That you were like throwing them at the enemies? Because I'm always just throwing them out like so that my tank can kind of back up into him to heal. I'm just like tossing them into the mix, keep throwing them up there, try to keep it.
I've done that too.
Yeah, I'm usually just like one person and just like layering all the bubbles in one spot, not spreading them out.
I just hold it, and it's like rapid fire.
Yeah.
And you just you can lob them pretty far too. Yeah. So I did that a lot, but it is nice to kind of split them up because you can. I think even if you're full health, you still pop it and then it's gone. And that the cooldown is quite a bit. And now that you only have 3 of them, you got to be pretty careful.
More
It's nice
selective.
to
Yep.
what they say, be selfish, or as I say, shellfish with your bubbles. Use them for yourself because it'll help you run away and run faster.
Yeah.
The other thing was with Jeff is they put a time limit on his jaws, dun 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 dun, go underground, kind of his runaway or whatever you want to call it, dive down. Didn't really notice, like, it's long enough that it should be fine, but you're not going to go into it and go up on the wall and kind of hide out there for a little while. So we'll see how that goes.
Yep.
Did you try Thor at all? I played a game with Thor as well to see how.
I did not.
I just had him in the training area and just saw it.
Yeah.
I think it's, I don't know why. I mean, it was in the patch notes, but I guess I just didn't realize that throwing Mjolnir was going to be like on a cooldown, which sounds dumb for me to like think that. Like, I just thought it was going to be like, hey, I can throw it when it comes back. Like, that can either be, I can either swing it melee wise or throw it again, but it is on the 6-second cooldown. But
it didn't seem too bad, but it gives you, if you hit it, it gives you more Thor force instead of taking it away, which I thought was pretty good.
That is good, yeah.
Like, the whole thing is, and they clarified it after because there was a lot of pushback. I mean, we might have been a bit rough on it last week, but
I definitely was.
they're
I
like,
still stand by it.
they
world
showed,
is coming to an end.
they did a video of like, this is what we're thinking about how Thor could be used, and basically he's a ranged DPS now because you can always stay in your ultimate form or Thor force form, whatever it's called, and which gives you extra health. So it is going to also help with your survivability too. But I had a great time with them. I feel like similar to with Wolverine, I have a hard time getting in melee range and getting those melee hits to get my hammer force power back. So giving me a throw that I can get it back with to give me more health and get me the ranged attack is going to help me play it.
Yeah.
A little bit better.
And again, this is one of those things, like, until we get into a live game with them, you're not really going to feel how
yeah, that's why I was just
how
going
much
to
it
wait
changes.
for a lot of the changes to mess around with them because couldn't really be able to tell.
All right. Well, anything else you guys want to throw out? I mean, we're gonna talk about some of the news here and some of this other stuff that was in the build here in a second. So let's move on here to our news segment that we call the Not So Daily Bugle News.
J. Jonah Jameson here.
All right. Well, one of the new things that was in the build that we got to kind of play around with, and that is coming with the build, is this new combat chest. So, yes, this is a new, I mean, do we want to call it like a little battle pass? There's a freebie part of it. There is a paid part of it. It's 695 lattice. Essentially, there's 3 skins involved in it. You got probably the sickest Magneto skin in all of the game. It is insane. Yep. It is incredible. This is a skin you want. It's the Magneto binary sword costume. So if you want to know where Magneto's sword is, it's in this costume now. So you definitely got to check this out. The Mr. Fantastic Future Foundation costume and the Storm, what is it called? The Storm Ultimate Wind Rider costume. Now, there is some freebie stuff within this combat chest. So actually, the Mr. Fantastic Foundation costume is one of the free items. Nice. So if you don't want to jump in, pay the $6.95 lattice. That is at least one of the skins you can get. However, the Storm and the Magneto are on the premium track. Of course, as well with that comes the emotes and the MVP screens for those accordingly. You can also get the emoji pack. So the the little extra emojis, I think it was the Jeff emojis that you can get, which we didn't even talk about that. Those were in the build as well. Yeah. It's just another thing instead of a spray or instead of an emote. You pop
it's on a separate wheel.
It's on another wheel. So yet another wheel that you can equip things on. I didn't find it.
Wheels. This is separate from like, how are you feeling today on your character card?
Yes. So we have not only the emojis, which are, you access them just like you access emotes or sprays in the game. But now we have these, how are you feeling on your player card? And those are the, what are they calling those? Those are the Galacta ones that are in the bundle, the mood bundle. So they're calling these moods. So these will be equipped like kind of on your player card, you know, at the main screen or when you join up in a team. You can kind of equip one of these things and just see how you're feeling. But there's a Galacta one, and that bundle is free in the combat chest as well. Now, to earn these throughout the track, you just have to play games. So this isn't quests. This isn't
great.
anything else.
Point.
This is just straight up play the game, which is
It's like
something
XP.
we've been asking for. It is. It's straight up
Yes.
XP. There is a daily cap, though, however, of 7,200. So you can't just breeze through this thing.
Mark.
But what I did in my build is you just pay for it and get it all. So I didn't actually see how much. So you can pay gold, Gladys,
I
or
did.
whatever.
I played in the couple games. I want to say like one game got me maybe a third to a half of the way through one bar. I don't know if each level costs more the higher it goes, but for at least that first level, it was like one game was like halfway.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And I don't think it matters whether you win or
What,
lose. I
30?
think it's just complete matches. Just
That's
play
how
the
you
game.
play the game.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just cool.
Which is, I kind of
like it.
just wish the battle pass
Same.
was like that.
It should be like this.
We've
Yeah.
been saying that. Like, let me just play. Even if they wanted to cap it every day, which I still think they should not do. Like, if somebody wants to pay the battle pass and just play all day long, let you breeze through it. But I get it. They want you to keep coming back to the game. But like, this is more the way to do it, I think, than do the challenges. But whatever. But cool. Hey, this is free. So
I wasn't
You know.
aware what was in this, and then over the weekend, I was seeing multiple TikToks and reels with Emma Frost using the "Make It Rain" emote and the Venom working.
Oh yeah, nice.
When did this happen?
yeah, you knew that was going to happen.
No,
It was
you
just a
know.
matter of time. I think I even said that on my stream. I was like, "Yep, this is going to be just making it rain on him on Venom constantly."
That's awesome. All these skins are great. I think this is,
They look
It's
fantastic.
great.
and it's not gonna run out if you buy it, right?
Right. Yeah. So you know, if you can't complete it by the end of the season, it sticks around. So this is just pay for it. You got it.
Win-win.
Real quick note: I think it's really great that they're giving Storm so many different hairstyles, because especially with like ethnic hair, I guess I feel like some games are so apt to just like, oh, let's just do a recolor or keep it the same hairstyle so we don't have to, redo it or something like that. But she's
Got
had
dreads
like
here.
fourth or fifth different hairstyle for her, which is, and they all look really good.
Mohawk, afro, dreads.
Yeah. Very cool,
awesome.
man.
Yeah, it's
You know,
very neat.
I think this Mr. Fantastic skin is cool too because it's like it's different from the other ones that he has
I
already.
think it changes colors too.
Oh yeah, he's got some like googly eyes or whatever on his face. Something's bouncing around there. I don't know exactly what's going on with his glasses.
You know what though? I gotta say, this Magneto skin, like I said, it's one of the sickest skins in the game, and I can't wait. Because again, whenever we get into these builds, because also there is a Hellfire Gala event tied in, just like there was in the first half of the season. You can get was it a Bucky or no Hawkeye skin,
That looks great too.
which looks great by the way. Yeah. But we could go in and we could unlock all that stuff and see the lore. We never do that for these builds. I can't help but feel this Magneto skin is what's going to play into the lore to solve what is happening here with Ultron, because there was already the Magneto lore page that we had from the first half of the season, and just the aggravation that Magneto had.
Aggravation.
This is going to be awesome.
Well, Ultron knew, like, I have to, like, this doesn't work if Magneto's around,
right?
And so, like, step one, nerf Magneto is what he has to do, and so this is something happens, and I'm very excited to see.
Yeah. Can't wait.
What about Doom too? Right? Like, where's Doom going to come into this?
Doom is in one of the character select screens. He's just hanging out, like.
Oh yeah, he is for the map.
Yeah.
Yes, he is on the new map. He is like standing there when they show him, like, how they kind of do the quick flashes of scenes. And then, like I said, he is in that tunnel, man. That tunnel on Arrako. I think when you go on to the bottom right, he's down there. It's like a weird.
Yeah, he's helping us out because he wants the Chronovium there.
He's got a plan. He's got a plan.
Yep.
All according to plan.
Yeah. Let's see. We also, of course, as always, have some new skins coming to the game. So this is a Groot and the Ultron Xtron skin, which is, I immediately bought it in with the build and equipped it immediately. I think I'm going to be buying this skin, man, because like I like the OG Ultron is great, but this one is just it's fantastic. So this is the ages of Extron are about to begin. Transcend the weakness of humanity and embrace true power in the form of Ultron's Extron costume, appearing for the first time in Marvel Rivals Season 2.
This is supposed to be the bad Ultron, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The one that takes Cerebro.
Thanks, Cerebro.
Yep. You actually see him in the map at one point, kind of sitting on the throne with all like the cables kind of attached to his head and all that. And
In the new map?
in the new map. And I think
Spoilers.
if you win, that's when you see Magneto. Or no, there's Magneto's MVP screen, right? That he slashes him and like
Oh, yeah.
destroys this Extron. So,
Decapitation.
very, very cool. The Groot skin is very interesting. This is the Groot, the E-Groot costume, as they're calling it, the Yggdrasil. It says, extend your roots and branch out to channel the greatness of Yggdrasil as Groot's E-Groot costume, appearing for the first time in Marvel Rivals Season 2. So I think he somehow has reconnected the fragmented 10 realms and transformed into the new Yggdrasil.
It's awesome.
It's so dope. I will 100% be purchasing.
Yeah, so I actually played quite a bit of Groot this week as well. Once I rage quit off of
Hey,
Wolverine.
rage quitting.
Yeah, it's don't try it. It's not good. But so I was like, man, I want the E-Groot.
Both of these are bangers for sure. This is the closest I think I've been to get like the bundle, because they always do a bundle every week with the two new
both of
skins
them,
and then
yeah.
a bunch of other stuff.
That's a good point.
Like, this might be it. I don't think I have enough blue nits, but maybe it's time to drop some of the credit card.
The Groot one reminds me that should have been the Easter Groot skin, because it looks like he's
It
got a
does
bunch
look
of,
like
little
that.
Easter eggs on him.
Yeah, what are those? Those
They're
are
runes.
the
They're all the
runes
runes
of
of
the
the
10
10
realms.
realms. Yeah.
Yep.
It feels like this is the, I don't know, before you head in to face the final big bad, like your character has one more like evolution, and he's like, I'm gonna, combine myself with Yggdrasil and become one or whatever, because that's the power we need. It feels so epic.
Yeah.
and the emote he has. He sticks his arms out and it gets like a ring of rainbow. It's sweet.
Yeah, and
Colors
he
are just
holds
great.
it too. It doesn't stop. It's just
Yeah,
like he's
yeah.
just standing there with the rainbow.
That's
I
dope.
don't know.
You guys are
if
convincing me
there's-
on this, man.
Yeah,
I wasn't planning on it. Now you're
Please,
convincing
Mark,
me.
Good.
shut up.
Mark's getting the bundle tonight.
Guys,
I was
you
gonna
know
get
I
the
don't.
Extron. I wasn't planning on the Groot.
You know I
man.
don't like to spend money on this game, but you might be. Nobody's telling you to buy anything. That's what, in the Marvel games, we had one person who was a little bit overcommitted in the role play aspect, to the point where like you guys, he was playing Hulk and Banner, and he was like, "You guys are making me run in here and do this." And literally everyone at the table was like, "We're not." No one asked you ever to turn into the Hulk. No one asked you to take out these people. We were going to try and talk to them. And he was just like, "No, you're making me do it." I was like, Mark,
So we're
right
making
there.
Mark spend money.
You're making me spend money. I hate you guys.
I really don't
You
want
guys
to.
just made me buy all this. Mark.
Gripes.
We didn't even tell you to open the game.
My wife yelling at me.
Looks great, and I think the walls have a little bit of extra color in them too. So
They do. Yeah, a little Easterage. Let's see. What else do we have coming this week? We do have some new Twitch drops coming as well. So if you are interested in continuing the Galactus skins that they've been giving away, be sure to head over to Twitch, which just watching our podcast can get you that, or go watch your favorite Twitch streamer. You can get the Emma Frost Will of Galactic costume. So what do we got? 30 minutes gets you the Emma Frost Will of Galactus
This one's a little
spray.
intense.
What is it? 1 hour the Emma Frost nameplate. 2 hours gets you the what is that? The emote. And then of course 4 hours gets you the costume. So that's
you got
good.
basically a month to do it. So
Yeah.
just watch our Twitch stream every week, and then you'll have all the
There you go.
drops. And don't be like Ken's and actually
Wow.
Earn it and don't
claim them.
claim it. Yeah,
Claim
you
them,
must
yeah.
claim them after you earn them.
In
they go away.
Twitch. Yeah, in Twitch you have to claim it, and then you have to go in your inbox in the game to claim it as well.
Yep.
So I love all these skins. More purple skins, please. And this Emma one looks awesome.
Yep.
Mhm.
You have until June 27th at 5 p.m. Eastern to do so. So, yeah, lots of time. Lots of time to get in there and do that. One other bit of news here this week. There's a giveaway that they had going on. I don't know if they're giving this on just Twitter, but it might, or I'm sorry, X, or it might even be on some of the other socials. But they said, stand for Arrako. After stealing Cerebro and transforming into the formidable Xtron, Ultron has taken Arrako and made it into his lifeless mechanical stronghold. As our heroes regroup to fight back, you can join the mission and claim exclusive rewards. So they're giving away some awesome Marvel goodies to celebrate. They're giving away 10 Jeff the Landshark hand fans, which I haven't seen pictures of these yet, but I guess that's what they're giving away.
Use your imagination.
10 Marvel Rivals magnets and 10 Marvel Rivals stickers. All you got to do is follow them on X and repost to rally your squad, and you have until June 2nd to do that. And it says, please claim your rewards within 15 working days, so be sure to check your inbox. Which is kind of a random giveaway, but
there are so many.
Hey, we had a bunch of random stuff in this closet. Let's do a giveaway.
What are we gonna do with all this?
Comments under that post that say, "Please buff Ultron." Random.
Don't even give us the hand fans. Just buff Ultron, please.
Open to everybody? We'll have to pay tariffs on this or what?
I don't know.
Well, a lot of tariffs are paused for 90 days. So
Oh, act now. Go.
The taco tariffs, right? So yeah, go over to X, search Marvel Rivals. You can find the post over there. You have until June 2nd. Go ahead and do that. And you can maybe get yourself a Jeff the Landshark hand fan. And you know what? If you do win one of these, send us a picture. I'd love to see what these things look like, because there are no pictures of what they look like. So I want to know what they are. All right. Well, I think that's it for the news, guys. Let's move on to our lore segment, the part of the show that we call the Cerebro Files. All right. Well, last week we didn't do any lore because we just had a lot to dive through, all the new stuff that was coming to the game.
Yeah.
This week we're here and we're diving into Thor. So I know you guys kind of divvied it up this week. I didn't take any part in this because I don't know that much about Thor. But who wants to kick it off? Matt, do you want to go first, or?
Yeah, I'm going to kick it off, and then we're going to kick the ball around. We're going to hacky sack this.
Yes.
What do you call hacky sack in Canada, Neil?
Thorskin?
Hockey sack. No. I just made that up.
Oh, I was about to be like,
well.
Do you have hockey or a hacky sack?
Yes, we do. It's great. And you can play it 2 months a year. It's amazing. When it's not snowing.
Unless you do it inside.
Snowballs.
Do it inside in the gym. There you go.
I am going to be completely honest. I have not read that many Thor books in my time in comics. So going back to see a lot of his comic origins was very enlightening for me. Basically what I knew of Thor was from animated shows, the movies. Thor the First is one of my favorite MCU movies, and it hurt me to not record that episode with you guys for the Patreon.
We needed you for that.
We did.
Especially the positivity. It sounds like that you're
especially because of the Foo Fighters song in the ending credits, which I still it comes on my shuffle. Oh my gosh, Walk by the Foo Fighters, epic.
Oh, that's a great song.
Oh my gosh. It was the ending credit song and fantastic. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Thor in the comics. So say Stan Lee, this iteration of the classic Norse god Thor, creation by Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, but then a few other people in Stan Lee's kind of like sphere of influence. Stan Lee was looking for a way to kind of like up the ante when it came to superheroes, and he's like, why not a god? That's what you got to do. Don't quote me on that. I don't know if he actually said that, but basically wanted to introduce, this character that was larger than life. Didn't want to do with like Greek or Roman gods yet, because that had been mined so much already. But Thor, as we kind of know him, made his debut in Journey into Mystery number 83 in June of 1962. So Journey into Mystery is kind of like the fantasy book where like DC and Marvel both used to have like big themed books. Like romance comics used to be a big thing, and so they would just kind of have like a a random name for the book, and it would be kind of more like serials, and you'd have like 3 or 4 ongoing storylines. Like there are Strange Adventures in DC Comics, but Journey into Mystery was one for Marvel. And the first appearance of Thor is the mighty Thor and the Stone Men from Saturn. And when we meet Thor, he is Donald Blake, a doctor from the US who has a limp and uses a cane to walk. And he ends up fighting these aliens from Saturn. And through using his walking stick, he hits his walking stick against an object, and it transforms into Mjolnir, and he transforms into Thor. And that is the first time we meet Thor.
And he has no idea that this is who he is because he forgets.
Yes.
Yeah, Odin made him forget, right?
And so, like, this isn't explained. Thor is, since there are kind of like hundreds and thousands of years to mine within the life of a god, Marvel has, added bits and pieces to Thor's backstory. Like, they continue to do so even up till now. But basically, Thor is the son of Odin, the king of Asgard, and Gaia here on Earth. Frigga is his stepmother. Loki is his not even really
adopted brother, right?
Yeah, adopted brother. And he grew up in Asgard under the care of Odin. This is where, if you know kind of the MCU, Thor at the beginning of that film is very haughty and very headstrong, very full of himself because he's been raised basically child of a god. He's the mightiest warrior in the 9 realms. Mark has the hammer. I've got my hammer upstairs. And Mark actually got that hammer for a steal, right? That's the Love and Thunder hammer.
This is the Black Series, I guess.
Yeah, from Love and Thunder because it's got the cracks.
Yeah, $15, man. I needed it to hang up on my wall, and I went to we have a store second in Charles. It was $15.
That's great,
crazy, right?
Awesome. And basically through a series of events, Thor breaks this truce between Asgard and another faction of the 9 realms people, and Odin basically sends him to Earth, wipes out his memory to teach him a lesson, and he takes on basically the alternate life of this doctor, Donald Blake. And he has this handicap, and this is the part where we like get the inscription on the hammer that says, whoever is worthy, this hammer shall, I'm paraphrasing, this this hammer shall grant them the power of Thor. Not everyone can wield this hammer. Only few people have, because you have to be worthy of the power, but also it's extremely heavy outside of that fact. Do any of you guys know some characters in the comics who have been able to lift the hammer besides Thor?
Captain America.
Okay. Yes. Captain America, while disguised as U.S. Agent, lifted it, and that was a big in comics because U.S. Agent was kind of a dirtbag.
Squirrel Girl.
I don't know about that one.
I just took a guess because she seems to have done everything.
You know what? Her strength is a 7.
Out there.
She has the highest stats in all the Marvel universe. So
did Jeff swallow it? He had the Infinity Gauntlet in his stomach, I know.
Superman has lifted it.
Right, yes.
Wonder Woman has lifted it. DC Marvel crossover events.
Dumb.
So whether or not they're canon, I don't know. Mark just got, for all our audio listeners, Mark just got a look of disgust on his face.
Wonder Woman.
Not because it's DC, just because she's a woman.
No, get out of here. It's DC. I have a hatred of DC. Come on.
If you know the lore of the Enthusiast life, even back to the Enthusiast life, Mark and Christmas Elliott hated, reading DC comics, and they would be like, "We're not going to read that."
I like Batman though. And DC Universe Online's fun.
But yeah, so over the years, his backstory has gone over a few different things. There have been some more recent comics that have filled that in, which I can talk about and recommend later down the road. But basically, Thor serves as this kind of go-between Midgard, which we refer to as Earth, and Asgard, protector of the 9 realms, which, spoiler alert, become the 10 realms. Secret.
Groot
But yeah,
holds all the keys.
The basics. But Neil, there was an event that you read, or a run that you read that you really liked. Tell us about it.
Yes. First, I want to share my favorite Thor book that I've read more times than I can count. It's called Little Thor Gets Mad. And
I don't think this is canon.
It's actually very good, and it talks about Thor. He's playing with a big block. He breaks it down.
That's awesome.
Loki is hanging out on a frost giant. He trips. He breaks Thor's.
I'm buying this right now.
Thor's stone castle, and he gets mad. He's like, should I charge at him? Should I bring down the thunder? Should I smash my hammer? No, none of those are right. Let's talk it out. Let's be friends. Sorry, can we help? And then at the end, they're all friends. Spoiler alert.
Is that Marvel? That is a Marvel book?
No.
Okay.
This is
awesome,
nothing to do with Marvel.
That's why that's Little Thor.
That is a great book. That gets pulled out quite a bit at my house here. But what you were referring to, a real Marvel comic book, which is Thor, the 1998 run, issue 80. It's a 6-part series. I've been going through the Avengers Disassembled, as I felt like, okay, I'm gonna start not modern, but fairly modern, I guess. And this is one of my rabbit holes I went through of okay, I want to start working through a series, and someone's like, this is a good jumping on point. You see the Disassembled, and then it goes into, I'm excited about that House of M stuff. So anyway, I started reading this, and it's all the tie-ins. There's a bunch with Captain America and Falcon. There's a bunch with Iron Man, and then this Thor one. I read through all of it this past week or last week. This is a 6-part series, and it got me so hyped for Thor. This series kind of starts with, I forget, it is kind of a lot at the beginning, just because Thor's got his whole band of brothers, right? He's got his 6-7 people that hang out with him, and we talked about it a bunch on check out the Patreon episode. We watched the Thor movie, so it was a very heavy Thor couple weeks here, and just the font too. I don't know if this changes in Thor books. More modern day, they use a different font.
They do, they always do.
Kind of hard to read for me, but you get used to it after a little while.
Because you have to translate it through Canadian,
right?
Then to English. Yeah.
And you're doing it in your head on the fly. So, but anyway, Thor. It's Ragnarok is happening, and he's losing his friends, and I don't want to give it all away because I think everybody should go and read this. It's a 6-issue series. Thor wants to stop the cycle of Ragnarok. The whole story behind that is everything starts anew. You go through, and then everything ends, and everybody dies and then reborn, and it's an infinite loop. And Thor is now, Odin's gone, Thor is king. He needs to kind of do his own path, following his father's footsteps. He lost his Odin power, Odin power, I think. And so he's trying to get that back. And so he's talking with the spirit of the Odin force, and he's like, okay, well, I have to sacrifice myself. What do I have to do? And I think it's
He's going to sacrifice himself.
Oh, Odin loses his eye, and Thor's like, okay, I'll just throw my eye down this well and drink the good stuff. And they're like, no, that's not enough. You have to sacrifice more. Well, what's a bigger sacrifice than one eye? It's two eyes. So he takes out both of his eyes, throws them down the well. It fills up. He drinks. I don't know what the backstory is of this well, but he ends up learning, getting the powers of the runes, and he just becomes like this ultimate beast. He gets a couple of ravens. One gives him the ability, he can see through all the ravens, so he's not like walking around not knowing what's going on. And there's what's above gods, it's the gods of gods. And so he's like, they're the ones that watch, and they see Ragnarok going through and through, and they with the battles and all the deaths, they get energy from that somehow. And he's like, you know what, I'm rising against you guys. This is ending now. So I highly recommend this this run. I'm excited to see how it ties back into Avengers Disassembled. But yeah, Thor 1998, number 80, August 1st, 2004. Michael Avon Oeming. Anyway, and at the end, I think this is the end of his run. So there's a couple pages of him just talking about, like, I'm so happy I got to do this Thor run, and all the things that he was hoping to get out of it. And it was very it was a great way to go, I think, to yeah. So I'm going to be checking out more Thor.
Nice. I think the cool thing about Thor is that every writer or every team, not even just the writer, like the artist, like you were talking about, the letterers, every title, it seems, is like a different swing for the character. And it kind of reminds me of Batman, how every person who every team that takes on the Batman book has like a different focus. Like I specifically remember when I started James Tynan's arc on Batman before he went off and launched his own, comic empire. He was really focused on the technology of Batman, and every issue it was like pulling in a piece of Batman technology from that we had seen in the past that we hadn't used. And it's really cool to see people either lean into the different facets of Norse mythology, like Ragnarok, which is, I feel like there's like this pipeline as a kid from like mythology to like comics and video games and stuff, because I was very much like a Egyptian mythology and Norse mythology. Like I just remember reading books on Ragnarok and being like, oh, that's so sad. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Kenz, you are covering kind of like the later Thor, the more modern Thor for us. And I know that you have a lot of favorite books in that era.
I do. So Thor's my favorite hero. And so whenever like I had watched the Thor movie for the first time and started to learn more about the character, I wanted to get more into comics. And so whenever the first comic that I really got into, and really, because I started reading comics at a later date, was Jason Aaron's run of Thor, and specifically Thor, God of Thunder. And so Jason Aaron wrote Thor for 7 years, which seems to be like a really long time for someone to be writing comics. But Thor God of Thunder starts with in 2012. And if this is so much of Thor that I know, so if someone's like, hey, where should I start with Thor? Like there's so much good that's here. Just read Jason Aaron's entire run. And so
if you pick Jason Aaron on anything, it's good. His Avengers run.
Oh yeah, the
Mighty
Avengers run too.
Mighty Thor, like come on, anything.
Yeah, but God of Thunder starts with Gore, who, if you've seen Love and Thunder, is the villain of Love and Thunder. And I don't know that movie really does him justice, because he's such a cool character. And Gore is basically this is from another world, and has been wronged by the gods so many times. He basically lives on a world where it's just him and his family. His wife dies, his son dies, and it's just left with him. And he is and everyone is like, we must pray to the gods, we must pray to the gods, and Gore's finally like, no, like the gods have done nothing for me. And so he kind of develops this hatred for gods, and just happens to stumble across the Necro Sword, which is this is way back in 2012. So Null did not become a character until 2020, or somewhere around there. And so this is like the first bit of Null, because the Necro Sword is Null's weapon that he uses to kill Celestials. And so that's where the Necro Sword starts, is in God of Thunder. So Thor God of Thunder takes place in 3 time periods. We have young Thor that is not worthy yet, that's living on Midgard, that has an axe. He doesn't have Mjolnir, and he's just kind of fighting around and with some Vikings. We have kind of like the present Thor, where Thor he has Mjolnir, and he's fighting alien gods, and is finding about there's other alien gods on different planets, but he keeps finding them dead. And then so it's past Thor, present Thor, and then future Thor, who is kind of at like the end of time, and with his 3 daughters, and is starting to find other gods dead as well. And so Gore, basically in all of these timelines, Gore always survives. And so it's always coming down to Gore trying to kill. He wants Thor to be the last god that he ever kills. And so that transitions to the second part of it, which is called God Bomb, where Gore tries to make a God Bomb.
That'd be such a good
yeah,
nice.
I know. That
We
will
are
kill
God Bomb.
That will kill all gods, in what's called the All Black. And so this kind of ends with a somewhat spoiler of it is it ends with all of the Thors coming together into one, and you've got the young Thor, the present Thor, and the King Thor. King Thor kind of goes down, and it ends with present Thor wielding 2 Mjolnirs. Both present Thor's Mjolnir and King Thor's Mjolnir. So that's what you've got to look forward to with that.
Thor bomb.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean,
Not
yeah.
a Thor skin.
So,
Thor bomb.
then from there, Jason Aaron starts writing Mighty Thor, which leads into Jane Foster, which I won't talk a ton about here because I'm sure they'll bring Jane Foster into the game at some point, but in some way. But very important part of Thor's storyline, especially the Jason Aaron run. But because of everything with Gore, Thor this was kind of like Gore was right, and gods are not great. Gods are not, the gods are not the protectors of everyone, and so he kind of has a sad, moody phase, and he becomes unworthy, and he leaves Mjolnir on the moon. And in
cool cybernetic arm,
yeah. And in so Jane Foster, which is like, it was a huge reveal, because when the comic came out, you see that you see just a hand reach down and grab Mjolnir, and you don't know who it is, and it finds out that it's a woman, and then it's almost kind of like a Metroid moment, if it's like you figure out like, oh, it's been Jane Foster this whole time, so there's a lot of uproar about that. But Jane Foster stays Thor for like 4 years, like until 2018. She, like, that was the Thor comic, was Mighty Thor is Jane Foster for a long time, and then up until what the arc that Jason Aaron wrote called The Death of Mighty Thor, which is Jane Foster's fight with the Mangog that starts to attack Asgard. Mangog is basically like the amalgamation of hatred that like continues to haunt Odin and Asgard, and it's like unkillable. And she has to throw it into the sun.
Nice.
And so along with Mjolnir as well. And it's a similar thing to kind of the movie, where it's like the more times that she turns into Thor, it has given her cancer, and she, it's like her last time to turn into Thor is to fight the Mangog. And so that's kind of similar to Thor: Love and Thunder. I think is a little rushed in that movie, but they do an okay job with showing that. But But after that, Thor becomes Thor again, but he doesn't have Mjolnir. He has like a factory that is constantly sending him hammers. So he just has like a hammer. He fights somebody with it, and he breaks it, summons another hammer, and he's just got an infinite amount of hammers that he's using that aren't Mjolnir. And that's how he fights in one of the best comic events that I've ever read, which is War of the Realms. War of the Realms is Malekith tries to conquer Midgard. He tries to conquer all of the realms, and it's all of the. I think that Matt, did you say this is where Squirrel Girl has a pretty big moment in this, or
yeah, that's where she beats Malekith, during like one of these just side battles, but it's kind of not. I don't know. I don't consider it a real.
Yeah, it's a fun little read, but they're all so good to read. Daredevil gets Heimdall's sword. Heimdall isn't able to control the Bifrost, and so he gives it to Daredevil, and Daredevil can see and hear everything, and it's just there's a lot of really cool moments. This is where Jane Foster becomes Valkyrie, and Thor, he needs a new arm because he's lost his arm, and he gets a destroyer arm. Anyway, so it all just kind of combines to this huge fight against Malekith, where Jason Aaron a callback to bringing all of the Thors back. And so we have Jane Foster, we have the past Thor, the present Thor, we have King Thor, and they're all the Thors. There's Throg that's there, which is the little the frog Thor, and just like if you've ever been Thor, Beta Ray Bill, they're all here for this. And it kind of ends with them being able to get into the sun and forge another Mjolnir with the hilt of Yggdrasil. There's also some cool Venom symbiote stuff in War of the Realms, but really the last part for Jason Aaron's run ends with the King Thor books, which is in the future where the only beings left are Thor and his daughters and Loki. It's just kind of like the one final battle between Thor and Loki. Nice. And it's super cool. And then the only other thing that I've really read that's recent is the one of the skins from Rivals right now is the Herald of Galactus skin, where Galactus shows up to Asgard and says that he needs Thor's help because the Black Winter is coming. And the Black Winter is basically Galactus consumes planets. The Black Winter consumes universes. And so the Black Winter is Galactus, but universes. And it's coming for the present universe. And so he needs God. So he gets all the powers of the Herald to help stop the Black Winter.
Nice.
I'd say the most experience I have with Thor is in the modern books, and just thinking about there's so much in the time span you talked about that's just good. I don't know. I'm a big proponent of it's okay to stick with just the modern stuff if you don't want to dive into the crunchy, hey bud, old comics, that's how some of them feel to me.
Hey bud.
I don't know. It's like I try to read. Marvel has these small collection books now that are like $12-13, like graphic novel size, and they're like so many issues of the old comics. So like the first Avengers book, where it's just the OG Avengers. I was reading it, and they're just like, it's like the Batman stuff where
they're
it's like
very wordy, man. Like they're very wordy when you read, even like the original X-Men books. You try to go back to them, even when you get into giant size X-Men. It's like, okay, well maybe I'll start here with giant size with like Wolverine and Colossus and all that, and they're just. There's not a lot of action going on, but I mean that's the way the books were back then, right? That's just that was the style. That was the Marvel method, if you want to say.
They were made for different people.
Real quick, I mean, I'm like I've said before, I'm not a huge Thor guy, but there's one moment, and I was looking it up while we were going through. I actually have the issue number 1 is up on the wall behind me if you're watching live. Did you read, Matt? You may remember the Infinity miniseries by Hickman. I think Jonathan Hickman wrote it, and the cover is Thanos. It's basically the return of Thanos.
Yeah.
2013 miniseries. There's a moment, and the whole concept of the book, all I remember really is Thanos is coming back, sends Ronan the Accuser down, and he's, I don't know, holding court basically with Captain America and Thor. Well, they send Thor to Ronan to try to like garner peace. And so he shows up, and I just remember Ronan being there, and he has, I think it's called a builder. So he kind of has these other like creatures that are there with him. And Thor walks up and basically just tosses Mjolnir and is like, I come in peace. I'm here to talk. Goes up to this builder, and the builder's like, oh, you're going to throw your weapon, whatever. Thor even bows down, bends the knee, and the guy's like, what are you doing without your weapon? He just stands up, puts his hand out, and Mjolnir just basically goes around the sun, around the whole universe, and comes back and just blasts through the guy's chest. It is one of the coolest like frames of any comic ever. Look it up. I think it was issue 4 when I looked it up, and I think that was probably the first time I was like, damn, this character is he's pretty awesome. Like that was pretty cool. That was pretty badass. Like,
there's
just
another, I think it's issue 6 of that run where Thor like is bringing down Mjolnir down on Thanos. And I just Googled it as well because I remembered it. It's just one of those images that sticks in your mind, and it's Thor screaming, and like the lightning and power is so great that it's destroying like the costume that he's wearing, and he's just bringing Mjolnir down on Thanos.
Oh, so awesome.
Like just epic art.
Yeah, I pulled this up. I'm looking at, so it's 6 issues total.
Yeah.
It
was like the
covers on
2013 like
these.
summer event basically that was happening.
Kind of like, yeah, like dark kind of colors, but then like really bright effects. Looks like this looks awesome.
I want to give a shout out to a Thor that's not often talked about, Eric Masterson, who was a human who lifted Mjolnir, became Thor, stayed kind of a hero, and took on the name Thunderstrike.
Cool.
Very much a 90s version of the hero. A really epic 90s art. I own a couple of like the holographic covers from this book just because it's really good 90s art. He has like brown leather pants and boots and like a torn brown sleeveless vest, and like the blue classic Thor jumpsuit, and wielding Mjolnir with a long ponytail, just like the most interesting man alive. That guy. But a lot of cool stories that we obviously don't have the time to talk about. I'll list off a couple more books that we didn't talk about really quick. So Thor first appearance, Journey into Mystery, number 83. He became so popular that they eventually renamed that book Thor. Starting at issue 126, it became just Thor. At issue 337, Walt Simonson took on the book and as the author, but his team is really kind of like lauded as like one of the most defining Thor arcs in early Thor history, which is really good. You've got an actual Ragnarok that takes place in starting in issue number 340 through 353. What were some of the other ones? A good modern book is Thor, Son of Asgard, and this is teenage Thor with Loki and Sif and his brother. Well, he didn't know it at the time, Balder, and just cool inserting of tales that came into his life later to kind of make that make sense. The God Butcher arc, of course. Original Sin number 5.1 is the revelation of the secret 10th realm, which is heaven, Heven, which was cut off from Asgard and the other realms by Odin because he thought that they killed his daughter, who we would later find out is Angela, goddess of hell.
Oh.
You've got your Jane Foster Thors, you've got Unworthy Thor, and then one that I thought was really interesting is Roxxon presents Thor number 1. And so this is a one-shot. And so what happens is this book is like it's like a meta marketing thing. So in the Thor book at the time, this is in Immortal Thor, the person running Roxxon kidnaps Thor, and the Enchantress and the Executioner are brainwashing him through making him read this line of comic books. And this is that book that they released. And so it's like an alternate take on Thor if you are like a corporate hero. Like his name is Chad Hammer, and like his hammer says Roxxon on it, and it's just full of like
Nice.
it's like a PR written book. And what was really interesting is that the writer for it, what's his name? Gosh, now it's escaping me. Greg Land, he had a critic once tell him that all his Marvel books were the worst side of Marvel, the cash grab, crossover summer events, stuff like that. And that's like what this book is. And so it's so much satire. It's like movie star good looks Thor with saving beautiful models. But I'm actually going to try and find this book. It was published last year. The artist is Greg Land. I'm sorry. The author is Al Ewing, which if you want to hop on to a Thor book coming up, a new volume starts in August, just Thor 2025, #1. And it has a really interesting summary. It says, the legend begins. The Norse myths tell of gods who walk the earth, doing great deeds for the mortals who believed in them. But Asgard isn't real. It never was. The gods never soared in our skies, never stood with our heroes, never fought for kindness or justice. It was all just a story. No one's coming to help us. But somewhere in the city, a man is waking up, a man with a hammer.
Interesting.
So I have no idea what that's about.
Cool.
But yeah, that comes out in August. And that is Thor.
Thor. Well, there you go. Lots to get into, lots to read, lots of recommendations. And,
I like the round table.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I like that. Can everybody bring something to the table to talk about the characters? But let us know if you like Thor. Leave us a comment. Shoot us an email. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this character. Well, let's move on here to our finals. Actually, hold on. Next week, we're going to be talking about one Penny Parker. That's what we decided to roll with this week. So
Nice.
I'm interested to hear about her because I don't really know much about her, honestly.
I think it'll be a little shorter.
Yeah.
Not as
probably
much
just a little
comic
bit.
history.
Yeah, but
I was trying to find comics to read, and you know how they did the a Marvel Unlimited Meet Your Vanguards and
Yeah.
Marvel Rivals. They do have a Penny book there, but I don't think she's ever had her own kind of series. So I'm interested to hear, though.
yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's move on to our final segment, the part of the show where we get you involved, that we call What Ifs. All right. Don't forget, you can always email the show to pod@rivalsassemble.com, or, of course, just leave us a comment in the episode here over on Spotify. Leave us a question there, or you can join our Discord and go over to the What Ifs channel, put a question over there because we pull some from there as well. This first one comes to us from Ryan, and he says, hey, with the Namor Monstro spawn range debuff, I think some other overpowered DPS abilities like Scarlet Witch's burst attack or Star-Lord's spinning attack should too. Do you think there are any other DPS abilities that should be debuffed? By the way, Moon Knight lore, please like the show. Good job, guys. The Moon Knight lore, did we decide, was it episode 1 or 2 that we did the...
I think it's episode 3 or 4.
Okay.
It's one of the earlier ones, but it's been done before.
Yeah, so we got to... I don't know. I commented to somebody
We
on Spotify.
invite you
Yeah.
to explore the earlier show. Yep.
Early
I used all
episode.
my words.
Yeah,
this week.
what
That's
Matt
great.
said.
Sure. But what do you think?
I'm gonna find
I
it.
mean, Star-Lord's
Meetings
spinning
September.
attack, I think, is one that could probably use a debuff. We'll find out this week as we're going to be playing. Well, no, we're playing Ultron. We're thinking about doing Star-Lord this week. Maybe that'll be our next challenge. But
Yeah.
that's
So
one
Scarlet,
that hits.
well, he's mentioning Scarlet Witch's burst attack. Is that like the team up with Strange?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it
That-
really big
It's-
damage?
Crazy.
Yeah. I feel like Star-Lord, it's just like auto aim, right? Anything like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little mini Spider-Man alt.
I think the Star-Lord attack is fine because it's so
Short range.
short.
Or yeah, it doesn't last very long either.
Yeah.
That's
Two
true.
charges of it?
It's more of like your escape, I feel. Or if you're
Right.
low on health, like you pull that so you can shoot, and then rocket out of there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying to think, like, I actually have been playing a lot of Iron Fist, like, over the last couple weeks. And I love playing as Iron Fist. He's fun just to get in there and just, like, totally mess with people. But in the same sense, I know
strategist.
when I'm at the mercy of an Iron Fist, just trying to do my thing as a strategist in the back, and nobody's back there to help me, it does become a little overpowered at times. And I don't know if that's more just because of the lock-on of his attack.
Consistent attack.
Probably more what it is, right? The assist there. So I don't know if there's a way to how they could change that. Maybe it only lasts for a certain amount of time, or what.
They should give that to Wolverine. Then we would have done better last week.
We would have. That's right.
Lock on.
That's right. But I just love Iron Fist the way he is, though. So I don't want him to change it because I like playing as Iron Fist.
Figured that one out, but I feel like I guess Scarlet Witch's normal attack can get annoying, or like Cloak, just like the beam auto lock on.
Yeah,
anything like that with a lot of ammo that you can last a long time seems like it's annoying, but you just got to play the range, right? If they're doing that, you just run away.
How would we feel like Cloak and Dagger is the only Lord that I have, but the damage, basically how that's almost like an auto lock on, not playing as Cloak, but playing as Dagger. Like a lot of times there'll be an Iron Man way up in the sky and you barely even have to aim at him. She just is hitting them every time. And like, you can take that Iron Man out. What if they just got rid of that? And it's more, you're playing more like a Luna, where you have to just hit your shots. You can't.
It's kind of like that. Auto. Don't like it.
I would take away the dash in Emma Frost's chokeslam.
Ken's, how would you feel about that?
Grab him.
Yeah, you have to be within like melee range to just grab them and yeet them.
Yeet. I don't know.
And I've been working so hard over here to try to find this guy the exact episode for the Moon Knight lore. That's why I've been completely silent. I cannot find it. No wonder why we get so many people asking for Moon Knight lore. Did I not put it in there? I know that we did it, but
I did it.
It doesn't match up with any episode. And
we did talk about it. Unless we share Moon Knight's mental kind of thing where we believe it happened, but it actually didn't.
Maybe it didn't.
I don't think any of us have
Mandela
identity disorder.
Yeah. Here we go. It is in episode 3.
I want to say 3.
It is definitely 3. I responded over on Spotify last week to Ryan, who, believe it or not, is the guy that asked this question. I answered to his comment over on Spotify. I said, hey, Ryan, we actually did Moon Knight already all the way back for episode 3.
And Jeff gets asked a lot. I think that's one.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's the only one where it's not in the title show notes.
Yep. That was back before.
There you go. Episode 3.
Episode 3. Boom. Let's see. Next one comes to us from Watson. Watson Dr. B. And he said, hey, guys, love the show, but I'm starting to lose hope in this game. No matter how hard you try, you can go nowhere. I made it to Gold 2, and then like the last week or two, downhill, now sitting at Bronze 2. I feel like I've gone through a reset. I don't know. The ranking system needs to change.
No, it doesn't. You just need to invest your time in something else. Yeah. You need to take a break, friend.
Ken's has comments. I can see it brewing. What do you got, Ken's?
No, I was going to say the same thing. I agree. I think it's fine. I shared my Chrono Tokens thing. We're not going to talk about that today, but take a break. Go play Quick Play. Go play something else.
Join us on our challenge.
If I deranked that much, I would never want to play this game ever again. So I think that then that's not a feeling that you want if you like the video game. So if you're having that feeling, go do just play something that makes you happy.
And I wonder, how many times do we hear it? Like, you win 2, you lose. Like, the game is like trying to just like win your 2, go play Quick Play, go do something else, come back a little bit later, play your 2. Like, do that rather than just to go from Gold 2 to Bronze 2. That's rough.
There's so much to enjoy in this game besides competitive mode,
right?
That I invite you to explore the rest of it. as someone who feels this exact same way after deranking in one match.
Take part in our challenge.
This game is busted.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if you're not
play a
having
new
fun,
hero.
take part in our challenge. Go play a character you've never played before, and maybe have it be the one that we're playing, so you can enjoy the conversation we have that next week, or let us know in the comments to it, or just pick another character. Maybe you have another character that you just are like, let me check this character out. Try it. Go play
Or
him.
an entirely different video game. Because I know that
There's
sometimes
that
that's kind of how I've felt sometimes. Of like, man, I'm not really feeling this, and then I'll play something else for a little bit. I'm like, there it is. There's that Rivals itch again. I gave it a chance to come back, and then it come back in. You can do too much sometimes.
I think that's a really interesting outlook to have on the game, because I've never, having not been someone who has staked the game, any kind of game, on the competitive aspect of it, it seems so foreign to me to be that disenchanted with the game. Have you guys ever gotten like that before with anything?
Overwatch.
Yeah, see.
Why I do not play honestly, if it wasn't for you guys and in this group and you guys loving Overwatch, I don't know that I ever would have played Overwatch 2, and I don't know I'd be playing Marvel Rivals right now. That's how terribly burnout I was on Overwatch, because I was like this comment of it's I would just grinding competitive and just in the worst state of mind. It didn't do good things to me. So
yeah, I don't think I ever got too deep into hyper competitive games. Halo 2, my buddies and I play all the time online, but it was still kind of like how we play Overwatch. It was just you have fun, you win some, you lose some, whatever. I never got into the MLG playlist, never got into any of that. I would say the only thing that I really felt the pressure to have to do was back when I did Guardian Radio and had to finish the raids in Destiny. All the content, I had to have all the weapons in Destiny because I was hosting a Destiny podcast, so I had to, right? I just had to do it. So that's just where my mindset was. So I could see that if that's how you're approaching this game or Overwatch or League of Legends or whatever it is, whatever your competitive game is, I could see that. But I never, other than that was the only time I ever had that. But, I don't know. But like Ken said, there's other games, man. Go have some fun. If you've never played Overwatch, go play Overwatch for a little bit right now. I played the Stadium mode. I played a couple matches this week with it. I actually had a lot of fun.
Have you played Stadium yet, Kins?
I've not. My limited amount of time that I have is spent playing this, so I would like to get in there.
Dude, the first match I played this week, I went in, and this is kind of sidetrack, but DPS played Soldier 76. By the end of the game, we went 7 rounds. I had basically a health steal, crazy, super fast shooting Soldier 76, and it was incredible. Every time I would fire his rockets, it would automatically basically give me a mini ult. So I was kind of auto-targeting people. It was incredibly fun. And finding that build, selling some of the perks between matches and then being able to buy the bigger ones, it was actually a lot of fun.
I think your brains, like you and Neil, would really like it. It's very much not for me, because I'm just I don't know what to do. But
it was cool, man. I think... a
few times are
it took me about 35, 38 minutes because we did go a full 7 rounds. But it was kind of if you have time for that one match, it was fun.
That reminds me. I think we talked about it before, just putting perks in this game.
Oh man, it'd be good.
Be awesome.
Yes.
One day they'll do that.
So honestly, after playing that, I was I can't imagine what the perks would be. Imagine perks that then create team ups and all that. So you're building synergizing that way. Oh, it'd be awesome. Let's see. Back
to the comment here. There's also auto chess coming in to here, so maybe just play some auto chess. Maybe the new game mode will. And we don't know if that's a limited time or staying in.
I think so.
They said it was an experimental mode, so it'll probably be limited time because it wasn't in the build. So I was kind of hoping that it was going to be. Yeah. Check it out. Let's see. Next one comes us from Slick Nick, and he says, "Hey guys, I know Halloween is a ways away, but what characters in that season do you think may be added? I would love to finally see Ghost Rider, and I feel like this is the perfect game for him to be involved with. Also, curious, do y'all see him as a tank or DPS? Would love y'all's input. Thanks for the entertainment. Keep it up." I would see him as a tank, probably, right? Wouldn't you think?
Really?
I would like that. Yes,
with
please.
Life Steal.
Yeah, and I could just see him how Groot can put up a wall, or Magneto. I could see him putting up a flame wall.
Okay.
blocking up areas and just
like a car.
being strong.
Throw a car
Well,
up
that's the
there.
thing. Which Ghost Rider is it?
What if he's just on a motorcycle the whole time?
I think main costume would be Robbie Reyes.
It
and then
probably
we
would,
get
yeah.
the Johnny Blaze and all that.
Yeah.
I want Green Goblin, Hobgoblin.
Yeah, that was mine.
Yes, perfect.
I want a Bloodstorm costume from Mutant X, where Storm's a vampire.
Ooh,
We've already gotten Dracula.
Oh, that's when we get all the zombie skins. That's
Yes.
when
Yeah.
Mephisto.
Zombie Jeff.
what about Agatha?
Oh,
Yeah.
Agatha would be
Agatha?
cool.
Yeah.
Dang.
That would be sweet. The Witch's Road is one of the
Like a
maps.
witch
Mhm.
season or something like that.
That'd be sweet.
That's great. Give me that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
want-
definitely
I
Ghost
like-
Rider. Like,
I want
give me.
something
I've
you-
been waiting for him for a while.
I want Ghost Rider for you.
Thank you.
That's
Give me. We've already had New York as like the setting for something,
Right.
but it's just like give me like a creepy haunted New York, but we've already got it.
Yeah, we had that.
What if you go to like Mexico? What is it? Day of the Dead, right? You can do some stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't think Robbie's from Mexico.
Yeah, but it could be like
It's
a Halloween
California? Is that where he is?
ish.
San Francisco?
right?
Is he a San Francisco hero?
I'm not sure of
don't know.
his.
I don't know the origin there. I just know he has a car.
Yeah, I know his brother. Who's trying
Well,
to
once
brother. I know that.
once the hero comes out, we can do our lore dump. on
Yeah,
him.
I'm not
That's
sure
right.
of his ethnicity.
Yeah, Halloween though.
Sounds great.
I'm sure we're gonna get an awesome stuff for that.
Green Goblin. Yeah.
Let's see. Next one comes to us from Neb. He says, "Love the show, guys. I have a really cool team up for the Avengers where Captain America is the anchor, and for every additional Avenger on the team, there'd be an additional 25
Gnarly.
health. Yes,
Oh,
make Cap
no.
even stronger.
Avengers tag.
So if Cap, Iron Man, and Thor were on the same team, each of them would gain 75 health.
Oh,
What do you guys think about this team up? Very
Imagine
overpowered.
Hulk with an extra 75 health.
You don't need it. Black
Well-
Widow with 75 more health. Hawkeye with
And like
So
almost everybody in the game is
yeah.
It's
yeah.
an
What,
Avenger.
what's
Yeah.
the line?
Wolverine's an Avenger.
Spider-Man.
I was gonna say the series I'm reading, like the Road to Disassembled or whatever. One of the issues is all of the previous Avengers come because things are going bad, and it's pretty much everybody.
Yeah, they're all there.
Yeah.
Avengers Assemble, right?
That does sound fun, and it goes back. We talked about like X-Men team ups and stuff like that with multiple. The way they did the Fantastic Four one was great.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
have,
I agree. There needs to be stuff like that.
Invisible Woman, then everyone gets that active shield. I think maybe if it's like an active shield thing, that'd be a little bit more reasonable than just like base health.
What if as Cap you could decide
Decide what?
Yeah, who gets
decide who to give it to?
it? Yeah,
Like as that'd be like the cool part of the team up that it's like
you're choosing.
it's just Cap as the anchor and then it's anyone with like the Avengers tag who he could pick. Because there are some that are just like, oh, I'm not going to have a good team up this round, or I'm not going to have a team up at all.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. Let's see. Last one comes to us from Mark Asbury. He says, question. So back in the day, there was an old PS2 game called Marvel Nemesis. If you haven't heard of it, some of the characters they made were amazing. Would you like to see some of those characters come over? I'd never played this game. So,
I
Matt,
don't know what this is.
I looked it up. I haven't played it either, but it looks pretty dope. So it's like the Avengers versus a team of villains known as the Imperfects.
yeah, Rise of the
Has, like,
Imperfects.
Daredevil, Elektra. There's a
Venom,
limited
Wolverine,
comic
Iron
book
Man.
series based on it. Greg Pak, Renato Arlim. Inspired by Power Stone, Super Smash, and War of the Monsters.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we got Cap, Daredevil, Doctor Doom, Elektra, Human Torch, Iron Man, Magneto, Spider-Man, Storm, Thing, Venom, Wolverine, and then new heroes: Brigade, Fault Zone, Hazmat, Johnny Ohm, Niles Van Rokel, Paragon, Solara, and Wink.
Is Hazmat in Marvel Snap? Why do I think that character?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. And then it like makes everyone's power 1 or something like that.
Yeah. 2-cost card. Yeah. So I've seen. Yeah, I have that card. So.
And those are the imperfects. The villain
That's cool.
team.
There's a lot of them.
Interesting.
I think this might
gotta
need to
play
be a
this
retro game club at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
What was this on?
PS2 it says.
All the way back in 2005. Wow.
Crazy.
Okay.
It's 20 years ago, guys.
DS.
Yeah.
We gotta try this out. That sounds great.
EA Canada.
Ooh.
Hey.
Hey.
Nice. Hey.
It's a Montreal game?
Yeah, Wayne Gretzky probably worked on it.
Probably.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week, guys. As always, head on over to rivalsassemble.com. You can find all our social links over there. And you can find our email, pod@rivalsassemble.com. You can find the link to our Discord. Go join our Discord. Bunch of like-minded folks over there. And while you're over there, you can, of course, stop by, say hello, and even leave us a question in the What If channel. You can send that over there as well. If you want to help support the show, do a little bit more than just tune in or leave us comments, you can become a patron, get extra podcast episodes every week from us. It's $5 to become a True Believer. You get the exclusive Discord role of True Believer. You get our MCU recaps every 2 weeks and host shows every week as well. So any final topics or thoughts for this week, guys?
Drink your water. Tip your strategists. And
how do you prefer to be tipped as a strategist? What should we do for you?
That's a great question.
I mean, I would just tell everybody, get into the season and have some fun, right?
Read your lore.
Yes.
Yeah, know what's going on.
Check
Be
out the lore,
informed.
definitely.
In game. If you're that's another recommendation for our friend who's disenchanted with the game. Just go in and read. Put on some chill tunes, throw it up on the TV, take your headset off, and just read.
Yeah, definitely some good stories happening in the game. And I mean, hopefully if you completed some of the previous content in the game, you'd be able to get in there and read some of the older lore that was in there as well and just kind of catch up on the story, or go watch some lore videos. Or you know what? Go play Doom Match or Conquest. Go play one of those other modes. Just get out there, take a character maybe you've never played before, and just have some fun doing that.
Don't go play Doom Match. You won't have fun. It's all Scarlet Witches. Yeah, literally all Scarlet Witches.
Maybe it is. Although, hey, big shout out to some of our Discord members, because after the show last week, Matt, we hopped in and we had, how many did we have? 8 of us?
I think we had 8 people in a
We had
Doom
a
match.
Custom Doom match.
Awesome.
Server Doom
Nice.
Discord server-wide match happening. It was awesome.
Oops, all
I
jest.
say it was awesome. It was actually terrible because Ash Phoenix just destroyed everyone.
They just destroy every single one of us.
Like, what are we doing?
Cleansing fire. There we go.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. So get together with some friends, maybe do the same thing. Just play some customs, or just run around some of the maps. Take the time, go look at every nook and cranny of the maps. The new map, go check all that stuff out. There's a lot to see and have fun with in there. So.
Oh, real quick, this has nothing to do with anything that we've talked about tonight, but had a buddy who's basically his mother-in-law passed last year, and they're doing a memorial for her this weekend. The families are going out for tacos and margaritas. So if you get the chance and you are in look of a meal this weekend, have some tacos and margaritas, and shoot us a picture over in the Discord, and I'll send them along to him. I know he'd appreciate it.
Wow. Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool. All right, everybody. Well, that's going to be it for this week. So have fun in season 2.5. And until next week, we'll catch you later.
Base.
I don't know what's going on with Neil's camera over there, dude. What is happening?
Neil's broadcasting
bad.
through his microwave. That's not even Matt status there. Like,
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, man. Yeah, you just dropped off at the end, man, and then came back all...
yeah, who does that? Who just drops out randomly more than once?
Derek. Hey, your mic sounded great, though.
Okay, I think.
Yeah, no issues there at all.
Yeah,
it's getting better.
so what is the deal with the mic? Is it a new cord or no? Because they didn't
No,
deliver the
this
cord.
is the old one.
Of course.
I mean, literally perfect this week.
It was unplugged for a week. Maybe that's what did
maybe
it.
some dust or something maybe got in there. I don't
know.
break.
It had an attitude problem.
That's great. All right, stream. Well, we're going to cap it there. And we will see you next week. Later.
Haha.